Okay, this video is all about how to approach the evaluation question, which is similar in many ways to the analysis question, except it needs more opinions and judgments about what the writer is attempting to do and whether he or she is successful and able to do that. Again, let's start by having a look at the marking criteria. I have gone straight to level 5 because that's obviously what we would like to be aiming for. As you can see straight away, level 3 is explanation, which is what we do in the analysis question 3, and also in level 4 we have analysis. So it is part of this question. It is like a PE paragraph. The big difference is then it's the judgment about the analysis and the explanation of how well has the writer done that. We can't just say what the writer is doing. We have to say, right, this is what they are doing and this is how well or unsuccessful they have been. So it needs to be more judgmental, it needs to be more opinionated. There's more of a personal response here. However, there is, as level 3 and level 4, and as the third bullet point tells us, this is still evidence explanation. So this is a question about how successful beauty was shown not to last forever in the extract. Now again, all I've done, similar to a normal PE paragraph, is I've taken the question and I've put it into a point sentence. So the writer, through Dorian Gray's increasing panic, because it is linked to Gray here, is able to successfully show that beauty does not last forever. So I've taken the question and I've put it into a statement with my own opinion. Again, evidence explanation. The way that we introduce quotes, I've gone for the quote, I could say the phrase, I've got my quote, and then I am straight into the explanation here. I want us to get away from saying, I know this because. It takes longer to get into the explanation, and this is an easier way to do this. Again, just a quick thing, embedded quotation, there it is, there is my quote. If I was to get rid of that, the quote clearly indicates that sentence still makes sense. Okay, then I continue on with the rest of my explanation. I have tried to extend it slightly here as well. Again, we've talked about, or hopefully you would have talked about how you can use connectives to extend your explanation. I've taken out a key word. I know the word is an adjective. The structure is the same. It's still an embedded clause, embedded quotation, sorry. And then I just continued it again. I felt like I needed to add more, so I've added 2 or 3 sentences more. These sentences are also to do with the more of the judgment. Okay, I wanted to write a little bit more about what the writer was doing, so I can have more of an opinion, make it more judgmental. But again, similar to PE, I've tried to extend it. I've tried to bring in another quotation. I've used a connected to do that, and again, embedded quotation. I've just continued it. Again, I've tried to extend it with a connective here. Keyword. This time I didn't introduce the keyword because I want to get a bit of variation. Obviously, I could have stated the word or the whatever language feature it was, but I've just, to get a bit of variation, you can start a sentence just with a quotation. This is really where I feel like, okay, I know I need to talk about what the writer's doing. I know I need to reference the reader and how successful this is, how successful the idea that beauty doesn't last forever is communicated in this extract. So here, I'm really starting to think more about the reader. So while I doubt the impact on the reader is as strong, it may prompt them to consider what common sense suggests to be true, that as we get older, we change. I've referenced exaggeration here because I've extended my explanation. Again, I've added in another quotation. This time I haven't introduced it, again, just to give me a bit of variation, because I don't want to use the quote or the phrase again. And then I have I've just extended it once more. Okay. Again, another sentence, extending it. This is where I feel like, again, I've needed to add in something else that might not be in the PE paragraph for the analysis. I feel like I need to talk more about judgment and how well the writer has tried to say the idea that beauty doesn't last forever. And I've come up with the idea that actually the reader starts to question Dorian Gray's motives here, okay? And we start to lose sympathy with Dorian Gray because he seems very vain. And ironically, in losing sympathy with Dorian Gray, we may actually start to question the idea that beauty doesn't last forever, in the sense of agreeing with that idea. Or how, not necessarily disagreeing with the idea, but how well the writer is able to communicate that through Dorian Gray. If we start to not trust or dislike Dorian Gray, therefore the ideas that he comes up with, we may start to question those also. Those last 3 or 4 sentences are so crucial in my answering the judgment, the evaluation, and that is what has allowed it to hopefully move up to a top of level 4 or a level 5 answer. So again, we're looking still at the structure, and also how do I put in the evaluation in there. Quite simply, this is still PE, the structure is the same, embedded quotations, a number of different quotes. The key difference, I suppose, is those 1 or 2 sentences extra where we talk about, right, how does that relate to how well the writer has achieved that effect?